welcome back to Color Our World Blackened. Today we're going to be sending a package to Dickinson, Texas to an old high school friend of mine. This is Ray Ball and his beautiful wife Anna. They've been married for about 3 years, have 4 beautiful daughters. They have their hands full. And I'm talking about the kids. The parents in this family are a little nuts. Now Ray and I met our freshman year in high school. I was heading to class one day and all of a sudden I heard somebody say, "Twisted Sister, what are you going to do with your life?" He was obviously mimicking the father in the "We're Not Going to Take It" video. I had a Twisted Sister shirt on. So I turned and looked, and this guy was standing there, and he said, "Hey man, nice shirt." I looked at his shirt and said, "I think yours might be a little cooler." He was wearing Ozzy Osbourne. He looked at me and said, "I don't know, D. Snyder, he's the man." I said, "Dude, drop it. You're wearing an Ozzy Osbourne shirt. Come on, shut up." He laughed, I laughed. He said, "Hey man, you hear they're working on a new album?" And it progressed into a regular conversation. This kind of set the format for how Ray and I communicate. So anyway, we were always bumping into each other in the halls, and our little conversations between classes became more and more. Pretty soon we started eating lunch together. We pretty much started hanging out with the same crowds, you know, the long hairs and the Levi's jackets and concert t-shirts. Well, by the end of our freshman year, we'd become pretty good friends. That summer, I ended up at a couple parties at Ray's house. He wasn't the one throwing the party. He had 2 older brothers, Lonnie and Dave, and they had quite a few parties, so we got to know each other a little better. The more we hung out, the more we realized our taste in music was pretty much identical, so it worked out real good. There was a whole lot of good music out there, so he'd buy this, I'd buy that. We'd knock off tapes and trade them, and, you know, it was kind of like a community collection. Now, about the time we started learning what Metallica was all about, I mean really all about, Ray got his driver's license and showed up in an old Cutlass. It wasn't the nicest car on earth, but it had the essentials. It had an ashtray, it had a tape deck, and it had 3 loudspeakers. We had wheels. We became mobile, and it was on. We spent quite a bit of time that year after school and on weekends cruising up and down Main Street, out on the back roads, just hanging out listening to really good music. Now, the Cutlass was cool and all, but it had nothing on what Ray showed up in next. At the beginning of our junior year, he pulled up in a 1979 Toyota Corolla wagon, baby, bright orange, party mobile, cassette deck, 7 speakers. That car is legendary. Now, I really don't have one particular Ray Ball / Metallica high school story because everything we did had Metallica playing in the background. I mean, there's just too many memories. Now, before we knew it, our high school years were over, but in that 4 years, Ray and I accomplished a lot. We smoked a lot of cigarettes, we drank a lot of beer, we listened to thousands of hours of good music. I became really good friends with his entire family. His mother treated me like one of her own. The same thing had happened in our house. Ray was welcome in our house anytime. My mom really loved him. To this day, she still regularly asks about him. My brothers got along with him. We were just really good friends. So it was finally over, and neither one of us had a clue what we were going to do for the rest of our lives, but we were about to find out. It didn't take Ray long to come up with a plan. He and another friend of ours headed down to Florida, and they were going to try their hand at roofing. Now, that was a hard goodbye to say. Of course, we were going to miss everybody from school. We had a lot of friends in school, but, you know, Ray was part of that core group that when that got broken up, it really meant that life was going to be different. Fortunately, the roofing gig didn't work out, and a year and a half, he moved back to Illinois, and he brought with him Karen. They got married, they found out they were having a baby, and Ray had to make a decision. In an instant, he became responsible. He joined the United States Coast Guard, and they moved to Texas. He didn't have a clue what he was going to be before he joined the Coast Guard. At this point, he didn't have a clue what was going to happen once he had joined the Coast Guard, but he made a good career of it. His top priority was to take care of his family and see his daughter graduate college. That's the only goal he had, and in my eyes, as much as I was going to miss him, that was incredibly respectful. Now, the previous goodbye was not easy. When he went to Florida, I kind of figured I might see him again. This time, because I knew what was on the line, I knew that we weren't going to see much of each other anymore. We could always stay in touch, you know, write letters, call, but I knew it was going to be a drastic change. So that was a very hard goodbye to say. I kind of lightened it up a little bit with something I was very serious about. I looked him right in the eye and said, "Promise me one thing. Wherever you guys end up, whatever happens, go see Metallica live as soon as you get the chance." He smiled, shook my hand, and said, "Will do, buddy, but you promised me one thing. If you ever need anything, let me know." So it didn't take Ray too long to fulfill his promise to me. In 1992, he got to see Metallica, Guns N' Roses, and Faith No More in Houston, Texas. He told me all about it the following year. He came back for a visit in 1993. He had won a pretty prestigious award. I believe the award was Coast Guard Man of the Year for the state of Texas. If I'm wrong in the title there, I'm sorry, but I think that was the award he won. But with the prize came a round-trip ticket anywhere, so Ray and Karen came to visit. They stayed for a few days. We had a great visit. We drank a lot of beer. He told me all about the show, and to this day, he says that's the greatest concert he's ever seen. And then we said goodbye again, and we didn't see each other again for many years, but we did stay in contact. I'd give him a call, a couple times a year we got to talk. We stayed in contact. So in the early summer of 2008, the phone rang. I picked it up. It was Ray. Great to hear from him. He was calling to let me know that he had heard that Metallica was going to be playing Ozfest, and then there was only going to be one show that year. It was going to take place at Pizza Hut Park in Frisco, Texas, which is a part of the Dallas-Fort Worth metro area. He said he had a little plan which sounded great to me when I heard it. He said he'd drive up to Illinois, spend a week at my house. We'd jump in the truck, drive down to Texas, go to the show, and then he'd drop me off at the airport. I'd fly on home. We'd get to finally see Metallica together for the first time. So that's exactly what we did. We had a nice little 5-day visit. We jumped in the truck and headed to Texas. We went through Oklahoma. We stopped over there and got to see an old high school friend of ours, Gail Youngblood. Hey, Gail, hope all is well. And the next day we got up early, checked out of the hotel, and headed to Dallas. When we got to the show, there was one thing we realized. It was kind of strange. There only appeared to be one way into the parking area and one way out. And Ray said that some of his friends said it could be a horror story trying to get out after a show. Now, I've seen Metallica enough to know that when they play Enter Sandman, the show's just about over. So we agreed that as soon as they started Sandman, we would head for the door and we'd try to beat the traffic. So that was our plan, and we went on in the show. It was a pretty cool lineup. The main stage had Metallica, headlining, of course, Ozzy right before that, Serj Tankian before Ozzy, Hell Yeah was there, Apocalyptica was there, Goat Whore was on a side stage, Seven Dust was on a side stage. There were a lot of cool bands there, but we were mainly there to see Serj through Metallica. When Ozzy took the stage, it was just really cool to look over and be able to see Ray Ball standing there, knowing that Metallica was coming. This concert had a lot of significance to me. It was the first time that Ray and I were going to get to see Metallica play together. The first time I saw Metallica, they opened up for Ozzy. The last time I saw Ozzy Osbourne, he opened up for Metallica. At that show, that whole thing kind of came full circle. I haven't seen Ozzy since, and I think I'm going to go ahead and stay on this one. When Metallica came on, they brought the show just like they always do. We were both extremely impressed. We had a good time. When Enter Sandman came on, we did as we planned. We headed for the exit, but we knew it was going to be a long walk around the stadium, and we were going to get to hear most of the show anyway. So just as the song was ending, we took one final look back and left the gate. We were now out of the venue. We figured the lights were going to pop on, the crowd was going to flood out. We were going to be happy to have that little jump start ahead of them. That's not exactly what happened. Now, I had been to a lot of Metallica shows at this point, and it's the first time I had ever so much as thought of leaving early. And as fate would have it, merciful fate, it turned out to be not such a wise decision. At that point, the crowd went absolutely nuts. Ray and I looked at each other and we looked at the gate. We had come too far. We couldn't get back in. We could still see the stage lights. We couldn't see who was on the stage. So we stood there listening to see what song was going to be played. And all of a sudden it hit me. And I said, damn, we're in Texas, dude. That's King Diamond. They were playing the Merciful Fate medley. King Diamond's on stage and we're missing it. And Ray's like, man, why did you make me leave early? I was, man, it was your idea. And he said, shut up, King Diamond's on stage. And we stood right outside of the gate. We heard it. It was, we still have the bragging rights. We can't say that we saw it, though. It's still a cool memory, and after that, we headed to the truck, and we were ahead of the crowd. We went back to the hotel. We got up bright and early. He dropped me off at the airport. Here we go with another goodbye. Shook his hand. Thanks, man. It was a great time. And he looked right at me, and he said, man, if you ever need anything, I'm still right here. Classic Ray. Wasn't long and I was back in St. Louis with a great memory of an awesome trip. From that point on, we'd give each other a call, once or twice a year. And in 2011, I got the best call I've ever gotten from Ray. He was getting ready to go to his daughter's graduation. He thought enough to call me and tell me. And he wasn't bragging. He just said, man, I'm proud. And in that moment, it's probably the first time in my life that I've ever been truly proud of someone my age. It took dedication, commitment. He laid it out on the line 21 years earlier, and I was just so happy for him. Good job, Ray. Good job, Karen. You guys raised a great kid. Excellent job, Miss Brittany. You know how proud your parents are of you. Ray, I am certain that your mother is as proud of you as you are of Brittany. Unfortunately, Ray's mom passed away some time ago, but I want to say again how much she meant to me. That lady was tough as nails. No bullshitting her. Every now and then, you know, when I'm thinking stupid, I'll hear her voice. And, Mike, tell it like it is. Not like you want it to be. Tell it like it is. You know, I mean, she taught me so much. I'm not going to give you the long list of all she taught me, but she's still with me to this day. So last year when Metallica announced the worldwide tour dates and cities, when I saw Houston, Texas, I had to get on the phone and give Ray a call. Hey, man, see who's coming to your town? You going to go? And he said, yep, I'm pretty certain I am. I've been thinking a lot about it. He didn't get tickets immediately when they went on sale, so he's going to have to, you know, drop a little more money than they would have been. But in this case, money was no object. He had waited Brittany's whole life to take her to see Metallica. He started telling her when she was little, someday I'm going to take you to see Metallica. He just didn't have a lot of opportunity, you know, busy life, making all that good stuff happen. But this was his chance, so he went ahead and he got 4 tickets for himself, his new wife, Miss Anna, Brittany, and a friend of hers. Now, Miss Anna, she wouldn't have considered herself necessarily a diehard fan before the show, but she was willing to go along with her husband to see his favorite band, and, you know, they all got the tickets. They went ahead and went. When I called to see what Ray had to say about the show after the fact, because a few months earlier I had seen a couple shows, and, you know, I told him, you don't know what's coming, dude. You're not going to believe the production of this tour. I personally thought they were too old to bring what they've been bringing on the Hardwired tour. No offense, guys, I just didn't know that you had that in you. I should have known, but damn, you're not spring chickens anymore. So when I called Ray to get his review, he was blown away. He said that I understated how big it was. Brittany had a great time, her friend had a great time. But what made Ray especially happy was, he said, as soon as they got out of the venue after the show, Anna looked at him and said, now I get it. Now I understand. And she now considers herself a diehard Metallica fan. So to you, Ms. Anna, I say, welcome to our family. I know you guys have been married a couple years, but on top of that, welcome to the Metallica family. And since their Hardwired experience went so well, that brings us to the trade. I called Ray and said, okay, stand up, Mr. Ball, it's your turn. We're doing a trade episode. He said, sure, man, let's do it. I don't really have a lot of stuff. And he had his Guns N' Roses Metallica t-shirt from the first time he saw him in Houston. No, man, I don't want that shirt. That means too much to you. Plus, it still fits him. All the shirts I wore in '92, we've gone up a size, in some cases, too. I asked him if he still had those old cassettes in his collection. He said, yeah, man, I got them. They're not worth too awful much, but, you know, I've still got them. They mean a lot to me. But if, you know, I'd be willing to send you those. I said, well, how about I trade you your cassettes for his and hers Hardwired copies? He said, his and hers, what do you mean? So I told him I've got a pink vinyl for Miss Anna and a red vinyl copy for him. He said, man, that'll be killer. That'll look great in our music room, but those tapes aren't worth that. I mean, they mean a lot to me, sentimentally. And I said, if you'll send me those tapes, I'll consider this a fair trade. So we agreed, and I'm going to wrap these 2 albums up. So there it is, Ray and Anna Ball in Dickinson, Texas. Here it comes.
Mike. Saludos desde Texas. Yo soy Ana y mi esposo Ray.
Hey Mike, how you doing, buddy? Hey, we received a package, but before we get all into this trade and stuff, we want to send out a personal message to Miss Mueller.
Hi, Miss Mueller.
Hi, Miss Mueller. Miss and love you much. Okay, back to the trade. Hey, Mike, we received a trade, and we think we got the better end of the deal. Got the latest copy, or the copy of the latest Metallica album, and Red and Pink vinyl. Okay, now that we got that straight, anyways, once again, I think we got the better end of the deal. And you know what, Mike? We will color our world blackened.
Yes, now Texas has been colored blackened. Go Metallica! Woohoo!
All right, so that was my old friend Ray and his enthusiastic, beautiful wife Anna. Great job, guys. I caught the Texas flag behind you right off the bat. Nice cowboy hats. And also, thank you, Miss Joey. She's their daughter. She's the one that helped them with actually making the tape. And good job, Miss Joey. And your package arrived. So let's open this sucker up and see what's in here. Okay, we've got a letter here. Never mind my glasses, I can't see without them. I don't know if I should read this on camera. I'll stop if I need to. The letter says, Mike, finally the package is here. The package includes 3 items. 5 tapes. These have almost no monetary value to me. However, they are the actual tapes we listened to in high school. They are extremely sentimental. They belong with you. Now, I collect cassettes, and I have a lot of Metallica cassettes, but these tapes, being what they are, mean more to me than all of them combined. We've got Kill 'Em All. We've got Ride the Lightning. It's an Electra white tape. It's not the old clear one. And I remember that he had this particular variant. There are a lot of different variant covers. Master of Puppets. This was the new one when we discovered who they truly were. This is probably the tape that we listened to more than any of them, although that's a hard thing to say. The 598 EP. And we have the Creeping Death cassette. Awesome, man. Thank you. This means more to me than all my other cassettes put together. And I will take care of it. The second item is a concert t-shirt from Houston. Just wanted to give you a piece of Texas. Giddy up. Wow, man. Right on. This is the Worldwide City exclusive Houston shirt. The only way you could have got this shirt was to have been at that concert. Dang, Ray, you didn't have to send that, but I will wear it with pride. I appreciate it. And finally, a big-ass Texas Sharpie to color Texas Blackened. Right on. They wrote on there, big-ass Texas Sharpie. Don't know if you can see that. Excellent. We're going to use that in a second here. All right, and he signed it, Enjoy, Ray. Now we've got a PS. Always smile to the Metallica world, and it looks like a lady's writing. Oh boy, she wrote it in Spanish. I'm not sure what this says. Mike, if we can place a consent. Gracias for influence. It looks like she says, thank you for further influencing my interest in Metallica. Y ahora quiero una ensalada de pollo. De pollo is chicken. Ensalada de pollo. I think that means chicken salad. What the hell? Cuídate y vamos. Anna. Okay, so this has just got Ray written all over it. I believe he probably told her to say you're a big Metallica fan, something along those lines, something serious. And he probably then said something to the effect of, and tell him you want a chicken salad. Something obscure off the wall. That's just the way he rolls. Nice one. Thank you, Miss Anna. And again, thanks, Ray. Excellent. These tapes mean more to me than I can say. I've already said it a couple times. This right here is what's up. Thank you. And thanks for the shirt again. That's awesome, dude. I'm going to wear it proudly. Now let's get this map colored in. Alrighty, so there we have it. Texas has now been blackened thanks to the balls in Texas, Ray and Anna, their daughter Joey. Good job, Joey. We've still got a long way to go, and we're about to start spreading it out. We got a couple more in the States, and then we're going to Europe. I want to say thank you guys. This is an awesome trade. And in your video, Ray, you said you got the better of me in this trade. Oh no, brother. I got the better of you, and I also have the last word here. I'm going to win this one. Thanks, man. Thanks a lot for helping me. And Miss Anna, I wouldn't say this to Ray, so don't tell him I told you this. His head might swell up. But honestly, you married one of the greatest people I've ever had the pleasure of knowing. Looks like you guys are a good couple. You're pretty awesome yourself. Take care of each other. Thank you. And real quick, I want to give a shout out to Miss Marie. Marie was Ray's old girlfriend in high school. I should have mentioned her earlier. I have a feeling she's watching this. And hey, Marie, I hope everything's well. She was one of the guys. You're still one of the guys. Take care of yourself. And Miss Brittany, hope all is well. Continue to make your parents proud. They did really good with you. You're an awesome person. Brother Dave, Brother Lonnie, hope you guys are doing well too. Everybody else, thanks for watching. If you like what we're doing here, we would appreciate it greatly if you would click subscribe, share the video, comment on the video, thumbs up, thumbs down. Tell us how you feel. And until next episode, rock on.